Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's project is a binded or busted Chamberlain LiftMaster Pro 1/3 horsepower. You see my chain is sagging, and that is because, let's see, so we're all freed up here, but this trolley is jammed in this position. When you hit the garage door button over there to raise the garage door, she just wants to keep going this way, which is pulling this chain on the other side just incredibly tight, and leaving all the extra slack as you get a bow in this, the steel trolley arm, whatever, is just creating a bow in there, which is then giving you more slack here. So all indications are that the gear that's on top of here, let's show you the gear, is just basically not understanding its limits, and it keeps on trying to pull clockwise, and is tightening that thing up, and eventually what it'll do is bend that entire sprocket there that it wraps around. So we're going to tear this guy apart and see if we've got some damaged plastic white gearing in here. So what we'll do first is I'll take off this, and this, and on the back side probably take off these 4 bolts and see what we're left with. Might have to just remove the whole carcass. Definitely going to unplug this guy first, and we'll start with all that. One side of this Chamberlain here, you'll need to remove your light bulb after you remove that plastic white shroud. It's going to enable this thing to be freed up. There you go. He's got another screw right behind there I didn't see. That last bolt's just a little bit of a bugger to get at. If you weren't aware of this by chance, you know, you can use one of these types of excuse me, screwdrivers that have the replaceable tips on there, and typically those without anything in there are going to fit on these style screws that you find all over electronics and other items. So it just happens to be the correct size for that. Hopefully that'll help you, and hopefully you watch this video all the way through before committing to your project. So dropping this front panel off netted absolutely no fruit at all. I fully expected to see some white flakes drop down there from some plastic. See that middle of the screen, there's that white gear back there just in front of this control board. So I figured that that would be shredded down there, but there is no evidence of anything getting torn apart as far as those gears go. So let's check out what's next. So I determined it's going to be just a hell lot easier to just pull this whole shroud apart here to get a better look at things. And the main reason is because I'm just not seeing anything overt right away to indicate what's going on. I don't see any shearing of my gears. I don't see any binding. It looks like the post on this gear here is vertical, and the plastic gearing is horizontal, as horizontal as should be expected. Careful on this guy. This is a capacitor, very likely. I'm not an electrician, but I assume this is a capacitor because it sure looks like every one I've ever seen. And if you touch these 2 ends on there right now, you very likely could get an eye-opening jolt, or probably even hurt. Let's see. Yeah, man, so I don't even know. I don't see anything that's going on here that's shocking. Can't really see up here at this angle, so I'll have to refer to my own video to see what that really looked like. Let's see. Looking for missing teeth or anything, something that's binding. And so the only thing I'm wondering is my limiter that's set, did it get out of adjustment to where it's still trying to force my garage door down, I believe, instead of hitting its limits and trying to send it back this way. So I think what I'm going to do is take a look at my carcass here, and maybe just try to adjust by rolling the down one. So I'm going to go clockwise on that a couple rotations just to see if that will release this thing, so it sends it back my way and take some of that load off of that chain on the other side. It's getting pretty damn tight. I'd say it's getting close to breaking that spindle off there. So again, on this guy here, if you want to go lower, you put it in and do a counterclockwise on this guy. So we want it to terminate higher, so let's go a full half, 1, half, 2, half, 3. Let's try that, and I'll put power back on this thing and hit the bell and see if she goes. All right, let's see if we can watch what happens. Let me zoom in a little bit up there so maybe we can see something move. Hopefully that carrier starts returning. Let's see if I can get an angle here, and nothing. I can just hear a little click, like a solenoid click, if you will. Yeah, so again, I don't think anything's wrong at this end. I think it's all about this thing being bound up by being pushed. It is pushed hard up against that stop right there, and it's just giving that resistance that this is recognizing and saying, nope, don't go any further. Same thing would be if the carrier's at this end getting punched up against this bolt. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this guy on there as tight as I can, and I'm gonna start backing off. This is a 1/2 inch nut here. I'm gonna start backing this one off counterclockwise, and the theory being, let's see, that's gonna let this bolt go this way, pull up this slack, but it's gonna allow this no, the carrier can't go forward anymore is the problem, because this thing is impinged. So, I don't really know how I'm going to gain any advantage here, but we'll figure it out. I really think what I need to do is just undo this all together, the front side, take advantage of all this slack, bring it back over there and jerk it and let that tension off of that sprocket there carefully. I don't know if I can do that without bending that sprocket, but we're going to find out. So yeah, that's the intention here. Is I'm gonna free this chain up entirely. Probably, yeah. You know what? Let's just free it up. Let's just do that. Let's get this thing off of there, and be really careful pulling this off of here, because if that comes off of that sprocket down there while you're doing this, it's going to jerk that chain back a couple inches possibly to let this tension off, and possibly cause you to rip a hand open a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a pair of safety gloves and get back on it. If I didn't say I was a little bit nervous about releasing this tension on here. So let me think about this. When that goes, the carrier's gonna come back, it's gonna shove it into here and snap that a little bit. So let's allow it to snap as freely as it can by pulling this pin out. At least get that out of the way. Actually, we can pull this guy out too. So on this one, I just got this little round, basically they're using this as a cotter pin type thing to hold this guy in for the carrier. So just pull that carrier out of the way entirely, and then I don't have to worry about that thing slapping me in the metal. If there's any kind of appreciable tension here that wants to give way. So now, alright, so that the back bolt, I'm going to go ahead and put that back bolt exactly where it was, so we have a reference mark on there for when I reassemble this thing, provided the chain isn't too stretched out. And I'm going to unscrew the forward bolt on this this chain that we were working on a minute ago. Let's get that one out of the way. Try to hold some tension on this chain so it doesn't fall off of that sprocket. On the sprocket on the actual LiftMaster over there. Okay. To the end. No idea what kind of tension is on this thing right now. Alright, so we got our bolt off. Let's hold our tension on this chain. So drop down that bolt. I'm going to put this nut back on here to hold the washer on. Again, keeping tension on that sprocket over there so it doesn't skip a gear and go sailing on us yet. And then think what I'm going to do is kind of clear my own way and just give it a little bit of a chain whip here and see what happens. That's less dramatic than what I thought. I'm going to pull that off that sprocket now and see what goes. I expected that to let go quickly. Not the result that I was anticipating. And if you can see now on camera, I'm going to feed this in back and pull it off. Alright, let me go grab the camera and show it I'm working with right now. Alright. All right, let's go take a peek. All right, so what I'm dealing with right now, again, this is speculation, but I believe that this sprocket isn't turning at all, and so I'm trying to take this slack and pull it off of there real quick to release the pressure down line and not get my fingers snagged up in here as it does that, because I just don't know how much tension that is on those two gears. So I'm going to take a some kind of pry bar and hook it around there and just pull this way on those last two teeth and get that sucker to pop. All right, we'll give it a try with our old Harbor Freight Tools little pry bar here. Let's see. So I got a bunch of the slack up in here that it can pull from instead of going down the line, and I want to just yank forward real quick and see if that'll pop off. And there she goes. That's what I was afraid of for my face being anywhere near that damn thing, is what was going to happen with that. So that's a little bit spooky. All right, so now we can go to investigate what's going on. This motor might be frozen up, I'm not sure. So what I'll do, since there's no chain now, I can plug it back. Well, let me just plug it back in. Now I can try to actuate it and see if this motor's locked up. I went ahead and unclamped this guy. Not that anything should be spinning, but we don't need that thing hooked up anymore. Over here to the opener, and oh, okay, motor's turning freely. Huh. Yep, both directions. So I think it just needed to come off and get all reset again. I'm gonna let it go through a cycle here. Okay, all right. So I think all we got to do is set our limits now. So let's hit this guy again so we can catch and see which direction it's supposed to be throwing it right now. Okay, so the motor is going, well, counterclockwise from this direction here. And there's its limit. So I guess I shouldn't be running that motor up against that control board, eh? And so if that motor was just turning counterclockwise, when you look above, it's actually clockwise full. So it was traveling in this direction here along this opposite side of the rail, which means that, let's see, this chain would have been pulling the carrier forward all the way to here to this stopping point. So that's where it should have terminated. I'm going to say, no wonder, I wonder if there's a bolt that's supposed to be up in here that's missing as the stop point on this damn thing. Let's take a look at this next guy. Well, nope, there's nothing there, but you can see where this guy stops way up here, and there is no stopper per se on that. So we'll go ahead and adjust it to the same length as this one. Just as our starting point. For those of you who don't have the benefit of having the two door openers from the actual wall, measurement from the wall, this carrier tail end here is at 12 3/4 inches is where she's closing nice and tight. So 12 3/4 is where we're gonna set that tail of this one. This is a good time to get up in here and clean everything off. See how, oops, just dropped my phone here. See how nice and reasonably clean this area is now versus all this track gunk, man. That's like old lube and bugs and hair and welding sparks and flames and you name it, man. There's some unsavory shit going on right there. Let's get that clean. All right, so what I did is decide this is gonna be the last time I ever fix and repair and clean this damn thing. So I took this rag here after I got done wiping that rail down real good with disposable shop cloth. I took this rag here and I ran it down many times just to clean out this chain. Just, you know, kept rubbing it back and forth, changing the rag out, different areas of stuff, and man, does she make a mess. So decide what I'm gonna do next is, since this area is completely free, I'm gonna actually take some mineral spirits and soak this thing in there. I'll just hold it up for a couple minutes in a pan with some mineral spirits in there and let it soak, and then I'm gonna take my air compressor and blow that sucker out. All right, so we're gonna use this 3-in-1 right now. This is garage door lube. If you can't read that, that's exactly what that says. If you can't read the small print because my phone ain't focusing, it says garage door, chain, and screw drives, blah, blah, blah. All the points on this thing. If you expect me to stand here and show you how to lubricate a chain, I want you to stop watching this video right now. I want you to unlike it. I want you to unsubscribe. I want you to take your right hand. I want you to place it over on your left ear. I want you to take your left hand and I want you to place it over on your right ear. I want you to tug up as hard as you can and pull your head straight out of your ass, sir. And there, just like that, we have a nice, clean, not quite new, but clean chain. Just a little bit of work with an air compressor and some mineral spirits and a Harbor Freight Tools paintbrush to agitate things around. My ADHD is going to sleep well tonight, brothers. All right, let's lube this. And there's my lube chain. I want to apologize for my attitude earlier. That was uncalled for. Well, really it wasn't, but anyway. All right, so let's get up here. Let's clean this Mojave out as well since we're around here, and since we're motivated and highly caffeinated and highly medicated, to be honest, right now. Let us clean these gears out. Each of these teeth deserves a brushing. Rednecks watching this video worldwide don't even know what it means to brush a teeth. Come on, man. All right, let's lube that guy up. Lube. for a little bit of that. You know what? That doesn't need nothing, but why not? Ain't hurt none. I should unplug that power up. Nah. Okay. So we put the pin back in place, put this guy back in place. Of course, it falls naturally, right at that distance that we talked about over there. Anyway, so we came around, starting here, wrapped it around the gear right there. There's a no tooth gear. It's just a smooth gear. Wrap it around. Make sure you straighten your chain out, of course. Bring it all the way up in, and then, since we already determined that when we pushed the garage door button that it went all the way to its limit, we just tighten that sucker up. You can see how much of a swoop I have in that, barely any. And I hand tightened it, pulled it this way, and wrapped it around that tooth, and just left her hanging on the other side of the sprocket so we can finish the job on this side. So then we'll take the business end, bring it right back up into there, and we'll set it up. Okay, we have verified that there are no twists in this chain as we come along here. Strung it through. There's our configuration. We have the first nut was set where it was at before. Then you got the washer, and then this other nut here. So we will continue tightening up on this one until this chain is taut. Apparently this is going to ask me to phone a friend to hold this other nut while I turn this one. Just kidding. Use a tool, for shit's sakes. Okay, so anyway, just hold that one in place, and you'll crank down on this guy right here to tighten her up. At the end of the day, you don't want this thing turned. You want it to be perfectly 90. So release your friend and twist. I guess I'll twist this guy until it goes straight. And bango, Bob's your uncle. So we got a little bit of a dip in the chain. That's what I want to see. I want a little bit of slack. Hang on. Then we come up to this side. We take a look down. Got a little bit of a sag in there. That's good. I don't want it too tight. We verified that we are on our sprocket teeth. We take a look up this length to make sure we are not twisted 180 degrees as we go down, or that's going to be catastrophically stupid. And let's fire up. That actually sounds like shit. Oh, it was clanking and clanging against this thing right here. So that's probably why it sounded like shit. Well, so it worked. So let's put everything back together and then see how bad it sounds. Let's see how we did. Little squeaky over there. Let's stop that nonsense. I don't like a squeaky door. Okay, good close. So I do a lot of welding over in this corner and a lot of steel cutting, so there's just a ton of dust and debris, and you can see the metal flakes. So I go ahead and blow everything out first with compressed air, and then I'm going to hit it and kill the ozone and the squeaks with that brake clean. Then we're going to use that garage door stuff there to finish off. Alrighty. All these have been brake cleaned and or carburetor cleaned out, air compressed, blown out. Then after that, lubed up with that 3-in-1. Everything lubricated inside this spindle right here, along this seam, because there is some gap exposure in there. This bearing or whatever the heck that is, the wheel itself, and this little minor thing right here, inside and out. All over the place. Every single one of these guys been lubed up. And then we still got to do our inspections. Everything is all straight, except for... Oh, I gotta get down on my knee. Oh, look at that one right there. How's that gonna rotate very good against that bearing right there if it's gonna be like that right there? You know, it's all bent out like that, you know what I'm saying? So is that gonna do anything? End of the day? Nah, maybe cause a little bit of a squeak. Not gonna do much, right? No big deal, except I'm not gonna sleep tonight if I leave that like that. So we're gonna take this guy, we're gonna take this guy, we're gonna make that guy look like that guy. And just like that, I'm sleeping better tonight. So how does this sound, you ask? And right there is a beautiful sounding garage door. All right, yeah, all. So you know the drill. If you have liked what you've seen, if you've made it to the end of this long video, I want you to not like it. I do not want you to subscribe, and I do not want you to comment asking me questions. Because you know what I'm gonna tell you? Crickets, nothing. I ain't gonna tell you anything because I don't care about your money. I don't want YouTube money. I don't need YouTube money. I enjoy doing projects because I enjoy doing projects. The end.